Welcome to the Real Estate Ripple. I'm Christy.
I'm Megan.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Joe.
This is your go-to podcast for everything real estate, lending, and local market insights.
Whether you're a realtor, mortgage pro, or part of the vibrant real estate community here in Joliet and the surrounding areas, we're here to bring you the tips, tools, and strategies to help you thrive.
From the latest market trends and lending updates to expert interviews and local spotlights, the Real Estate Ripple dives deep into what's shaping property scene.
We'll help you stay ahead of the curve with actionable advice, fun stories, and plenty of expert insight to help you and your clients make the right moves.
So whether you're unlocking new opportunities or navigating tricky transactions, we're here to help make your journey smoother, smarter, and more successful.
Subscribe to the Real Estate Ripple today,
where every conversation creates waves in the world of real estate. Welcome back to the Real Estate Ripple, brought to you by the Three Rivers Association of Realtors. I'm Lindsey Hazdra.
And I'm Megan Wendtland. And today we're going to dive into a topic that a lot of people overlook, December deals. So believe it or not, buying or selling at the end of the year can actually work in your favor, and we're going to talk about that today.
We're breaking down the advantages, the traps to avoid, and why the holiday season might just be your real estate sweet spot. All right, so let's get started when you want to purchase, right? So you're on the buy side. You decide now is the time that you have to move, be it something changed in your work life or your family life, and you're moving during the holidays. One big advantage that a lot of people don't take into consideration is less competition. By far, you are not moving during the holidays unless you have to. It's not convenient to, you must. And so with that, you are able to scoop something up if something's been sitting a little longer and it's still on the market during the holidays. Usually better negotiation can happen.
And you're not fighting a million offers.
No.
Like, it's probably just you're the only offer. So, like, balls in your court as a buyer, which is
100%.
a breath of fresh air.
And everybody has the same mindset after the holidays. So as soon as the holidays are over, it picks up tenfold. There's new listings hitting the market. Buyers are pre-approved. They have a New Year's resolution. They're ready to get on it.
Own a home.
New year, new them. It's an entirely different market. And with the competition and the low inventory that we've seen, really, especially if you're playing on a tight budget, to have a little bit of edge in your corner is going to pay off, definitely, shopping during the holidays. So if you can, it is one really great thing to consider that you can make the move.
First-time buyers, right? If you don't, especially if you're not dealing with kids switching schools or something like that, that now is a great time for that reason. You don't have that obstacle, right? You're in the middle of the school year if you don't have children or you're a first-time buyer who's renting and you're not up against a strict timeline. Yeah. Now is the time where you can get that deal.
Yeah. And a lot of people have a similar timeline. There's this the spring market, like that's the best time to buy and sell. And though it might be a great time to sell, the level of competition that you're going to find during that market might price you out.
Yeah.
And it might have you sitting in your house for another year, 2 years. And so planning that out with your agent and having these conversations as an agent, clearly with your client, what is your time frame? What are your goals? And when might be the best time to sell or purchase? The holidays.
I've had a lot of people say, I'm going to pause till after the holidays. And my response is always talk to your agent and make sure they keep your search open, though. Yeah. Because you never know. Don't just completely close that door until after the holidays because you never know what's going to pop up. So it's just more incentive to have a realtor who has access to the MLS who can get you those listings that pop up. And you're not just, you don't want your clients browsing those other sites. So encouraging them to at least keep the search open and keep it active.
Yeah. And things do pop up just again along the lines of somebody has to sell. And so a house pops up 2 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
And
estate sale. I mean, it could be anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
And that just might be your way to get into the perfect house.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't sleep on December.
Don't sleep on December. How about from a lending perspective?
What to watch out for. So December, I mean, it looks a little different, right? We're all holiday shopping and buying gifts and buying all kinds of things. And you're getting all these emails. I don't know about you guys, but every day I have 500 emails, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, everything's 50% off. And your credit card is like, stop using me. Right. But what I've seen pop up more and more, especially in December, is deals getting delayed or falling apart because people are using holiday apps, like I call them holiday apps, like Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay. So when you go to checkout, you'll see that option, like split payments over 4 equal payments of this X amount of dollars. And it may seem appealing and, you're not racking up your credit card and it's not, I don't want to use the word irresponsible because it could be responsible for you. However, if you're considering purchasing a home or your search is open and you're just not sure when, don't do it. I just had this yesterday. A client, obviously, an underwriter, when you're purchasing, looks at your bank statements, they see a recurring charge, and we have to document that. And those afterpays like Affirm and Klarna and all those things they don't really give you statements. They don't really give you documentation. So it just becomes kind of a paper trail nightmare, and it could end up blowing up your transaction altogether because now we have to include this payment in your debt to income ratio that we didn't before, or you might be forced to pay it in full, and then providing proof of that is really, really difficult with those apps. So rule of thumb, just stay away from them. And same with your credit cards. Like we qualify people when we pull their credit on what their balances are. When we pull their credit, if your credit balance doubles, your minimum payment is going to double. So when you go to pull that credit report closer to the end of the transaction to make sure nothing has changed, no new credit has been opened, if your credit balances have doubled, your payments are going to go up, and just no different than buying a new car in the middle of a transaction. It could be that detrimental. So the biggest thing is just stay away from that extra spending, whether that's through those buy now, pay laters or general credit spending or opening up new debt. It may be tempting to save 20% when you get to the register and they're like, hey, open a credit card, save 20%. That seems really great. Don't do it. Just say no. Just say no. Not worth losing your house over a new TV. It's just not. I promise you. That TV will be there after closing. That sale will be there. I worked retail forever, and I can promise you the sales will always come back and be there. And if you end up paying a few dollars more for it, trust me, it's better. At least you'll have a house to put it in.
Totally.
And another thing really quick to remember this time of year, it's a great time to get your end of year financial statements together. So super nerdy thing, but keep your W-2s handy for the end of the year. You're going to be getting your W-2 come January. So like your lender's going to need that. End of year financial statements, tax statements. This is when you're starting to get all those documents together for your accountant anyways. Or even if you do your own taxes, you're collecting all of these things. So just keep them handy. Save yourself the trouble come January, scan them, save them to your computer in a safe place, and just keep all that organized. It's a great time to get organized with that kind of stuff.
From agent perspective too, this just reminds me of how important it is to have these really early on buyer's consultations to set perspective.
Amen.
If you cannot have a really good, thorough conversation, which you shouldn't be in the same way that a lender can, you need to really encourage your clients to reach out to their lender fast and early to set the perspective, because on our end, if you shop a buyer that could possibly be victim to using Klarna and that's not found out until underwriting, you have stressed someone out. I mean, they have shopped for homes, they've fallen in love, they've put offers on, they've been under
driven
contract.
all over the place.
You've driven all over the place. Now you're under contract. There might be an appraisal that's been ordered. There's an inspection that's been done. And then they find out they were on Klarna and they can't close.
Right.
Keeping them in the mindset to just keep swimming that's a really big. So you can lose a client that way by not really setting perspective as to, we are not spending this month.
Yeah, we're not spending this month. And we're, like you said, having those conversations up front before houses are even looked at. It's during the application process, like the second a client applies, we schedule a consultation with them, whether that's over the phone, Zoom, in person. It could be whatever. It doesn't matter, but that conversation needs to happen up front.
Yeah, they feel ready and they appreciate that. So even if they're not a great candidate that month when they think that they're moving, the fact that now they have perspective on what they need to do, what the next month is going to look like, and then they have good results when they're shopping when the time is appropriate.
And no surprises. Nobody likes surprises. That's the worst thing in our industry on both sides is surprises. So they can't say, I didn't know that. Or, and people are still going to people, right? People are still going to people. They're going to do what they're going to do. But at least you can say, this conversation was had. Yeah. They understood, that sort of thing. Things that were gone over, and it's something. definitely recommend making like a buyer consultation checklist if you don't have one on the lending side and the real estate side. Like these are things should happen. Check, check, check. We talked about this, XYZ, and following up in an email.
Yeah.
So it's in writing because some people are different types of learners, visual, auditory. I mean, you should probably deliver it both ways.
And purchasing and selling is like a footnote in people's lives.
Yeah.
They're still going to work and they're raising children and they're sending them to school and they're cleaning their house and they're going to the parties and they're doing all the things.
Yeah.
But to be moving through a transaction at the same time, things are missed.
Well, and we need to remember they don't do this every day like we do. This is second nature to us. And it seems like common sense. We consider this in our brains probably common sense. But to the average consumer, it's not common sense. Just like we wouldn't know what to do with an electrician, or a nurse, or we don't know how to do that kind of stuff. They don't know this.
No.
They're just getting the emails like sign up for this.
Yeah,
they're people.
We need to be told.
Yeah.
We need to be told a few times.
Yeah. That's why we're the professionals, right? It's like your doctor saying don't eat that a million times, right? Like it's the same thing. Just different
Didn't die the first time. I'm doing it again.
Right? Still rolling through the McDonald's drive-thru.
Oh, it's funny. Okay, now let's flip it over to sellers. So if you are in a situation where you have to sell today, now, the thing is with all of the beautiful of the season, you can really present a cozy place.
Yeah.
If you tap into making this home feel like home, it's clean, it's shoveled, it's staged, it smells good, it's cozy. You should go get a frozen pie and stick it in the oven for showings and just let that thing cook while people are walking through. And then you put a killer price tag on it. Let the market during the holidays. We don't know. So a list price is a lot of times a seller's opinion of their price.
Yeah.
And really during this time, you want the market to tell you what the price is. You want the price to be almost looking like a deal. You want the pictures to be like you have to be there. You want it to be incredible when they walk in the door, and you want it for this price that seems almost like it's a deal to stir up the competition of those purchasers who are going to purchase during this time. Let them set the price. Let them fight with each other and get it to the max top dollar that you can get for the season. Yeah. But creating just the warmth of showing your home in the best time of the season, that translates to people looking for new homes. Yeah. You get your money's worth in that.
Absolutely. Or even just being strategic. I mean, I've seen offering, incentives for the buyers so that maybe they're not, to make it more attractive, you're offering closing cost credit or something like that so they can keep their money in their pocket this holiday season. They can move into the home for a minimum down. Just getting creative with, the financing side of it, because they're thinking how much cash out of pocket. I feel like that's what buyers are thinking, right? So if you as a seller can still get your bottom line price that you want and you need, but offer them some kind of incentive to come in with less cash out of their pocket, I think that's a great strategy too.
I like the word incentive too. I talk to my sellers a lot about psychology.
Okay.
Everybody wants to win a little, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They want to feel like they're getting a deal.
Yep. And the sellers, they want to win the most because they want this price tag that they've put on this home.
Yep.
But if you come at it, let those buyers feel like they've won a little. Mm-hmm. Let them come in hot. Let them choose their price tag. Let them have their own competition and let them feel like they got something and let them win.
Yeah.
And it's not always the fact that they won, but if you can put an incentive on it and then you get this and then you win this, that type of winning mindset is a real thing. Mm-hmm. Everybody, sometimes these transactions can derail because a seller might think that the buyer's taken full advantage of them. And now they just want to win a little and they're going to say something crazy to negotiate at the end because they just want to get one more win. If you can kind of get your sellers to think that like, hey, let's play a little mind game. Let's play devil's advocate here. Let's let them think they're winning and set the stage so that this house really goes for what you want it to do, but really we're playing a different side game.
Yeah.
And those are serious offers. When you let the buyer set their price, make the offer, they're strong. They're purchasing in December, right? So they need a home. They want to purchase
These
this
are serious buyers. It's
serious.
Not looky-loos, right?
No.
And you're not trudging through the snow.
Yep.
Because you want to.
And they're on a timeline, so they already feel like they're not winning. Yeah. So let them think they're winning a little and design your selling task list around that. Like, how can we do a little reverse psychology so that they really think they're winning today?
Love some good reverse psychology. I use that on my husband all the time.
Same.
All the time.
And kids.
And it works. Yeah, it works.
But they all have a different style of it.
It totally works.
All right. One last thing that I think belongs in this podcast today is a few little tips for selling your home in winter. What I would encourage agents listening to do is to go to the Three Rivers website, go to the Member Center, and click on Forms and Guides. You'll find in there just your regular, generic National Association of Realtors consumer guide. Use all this information that you can get your hands on. Take different lists and use what works, use what you have or that comes off well in your conversations. Read through some that you might not even use, but just kind of consuming lists like this help you to make your own branded marketing material. So take what you love, make it your own words, and put it all together in something that is brand worthy of who you are with your logo, your name, and said in a way that you would say it. Hopefully
Swipe and adapt.
Yeah, you can tweak it over time, but anything that you give to clients should be from you.
Yeah.
Your brokerage could change, things could change, the market changes, these tips might change, but your name being on it makes it look like this is approved by you, the professional who is hired. A few things on this list that I would like us to look at is focus on curb appeal. Curb appeal, for the most part, when you're selling, keep it simple, slick, maintained. No extra, no fluff, no doodads, just clean. The people who lived here maintained their home. We're creating a narrative here. So clean lines is probably the most important part. I guess during winter too, make that exterior safe. Keep that ice bucket straight outside. Yeah. Or salt. Yeah. And don't put an ice bucket outside. That'd be terrible. A salt bucket for sure. But even just for agents coming through, there's a lot of traffic during this time. And if somebody can just lay some salt down, nobody wants to be sued on the holidays. Jeez.
No, goodness, no.
No. Light it up. Keep the windows open. Let as much natural light shine through as you can. I like when you can. It's not always permitting during showings to have your lights on all the time, but having every light turned the way that it should be creates like a warm, inviting feel when buyers start to walk through the house and they've obviously never been there before and they play find the light switch game.
Yes.
It kind of throws the vibe off.
It does.
It does.
You're absolutely right. I never thought about that before.
Yep. Even if a light bulb, even if a light bulb is burnt out.
Yes, that could definitely impact.
A buyer instantly goes, "Does this work? Did you check the electrical? Like, is the box okay?"
Yeah.
And it's just a light bulb. But immediately when you're purchasing a home, you go down the rabbit hole of like, what could be wrong with this thing?
Work?
What else doesn't work?
Why is it so hard to find the light switch?
Yeah.
This lamp, if maybe they have a bunch of lamps and that feels warmer and more cozy.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if they're on, they're just into it and they'll walk through and it won't glitch them up. But if they're walking around trying to figure out where every last light switch is and why they're turning on or not, it changes the value that you're seeing less value. And a lot of it is psychological, but they're seeing, the experience is a really big part of it.
Yeah.
Accommodate showing requests. We know that is hard. And that is one really big conversation to set expectations with your sellers in the beginning. Your home is worth the most in those first 5 to 7 days. You have to let people through.
Yeah.
People fall in love with it just from a picture. They saw it. It was on Facebook. They sent it to their aunt who was searching. You find this house. You're in love with it. You want it.
You want to go look at it.
You want to go look at it right now. And then it takes you a day. It takes you 2 days. And we know things happen. You can't get the dogs out or you're at work. But to come up with a plan, so for the first 5 to 7 days, your showings can just successfully come through.
You don't have to say no.
Yeah. They'll find another house. If yours was the hard one to get into, it's the next house that they'll go to. And a lot of time, it's very rare that a buyer comes back. If you can't get into a home, there's something a little bit tarnished about it, unless the buyer is feeling desperate. They don't necessarily want to come back. So, and pay attention to the scents. I mentioned earlier a pie. A pie is like most people can enjoy the smell of cooking food.
Yeah.
But when it comes to candles or plugins or Febreze,
unique scents can
set people off entirely. So
they might not like it. And then they just have a bad taste in their mouth about the house. It's all mental. Yeah.
Yep.
Like think about you walk in and it smells like peppermint, but there's some people who really don't like peppermint. That's just what I thought about.
Yep. I showed a property recently that had a lot of Glade plugins. And as we were walking through the property, the buyer started to think that she was smelling gas. So she was confusing a gas smell with a Glade plug-in smell.
Okay.
And ultimately did not want the house because she was feeling so confused as to where this strong smell that reminded her of gas.
Or you could say, what are they trying to hide too? That could be it too. Like, are they trying to cover smells from pets or something like that? Like, that's what I would think if I were,
And the strongest smells come from the pet houses.
Yeah.
And so that's another conversation.
Yeah.
Either you address the pet smell or you let the pet smell fly. And again, you associate a good, fair price tag to it. So if the only thing wrong with the house is there's a little bit of pet smell, no worries. No worries. That was the only thing. We can clean that up.
We can do a credit for carpet cleaning or whatever it is you need. But we understand, we recognize it, we own it.
Yeah. But find some of these lists. Definitely, I would say go to Three Rivers. We have a lot of different guides and forms on there that you can take advantage of. And like I said, use it all for your own data and your information only. At the end of the day, all of these things should be building your brand and who you are.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And just some final things from a financial side. Encourage your buyers, and of course their lender should be doing this too, but stay financially steady, stay pre-approved, stay away from those tempting holiday payment apps we talked about, and then close first, shop later. I mean, it's that simple. Close first, shop later. But if life does happen, they not to say they can't buy anything. That's unrealistic, right? I had a client where her heat went out in her car. And she's like, Megan, I need to spend this money to get it repaired, or I have to get a new car. Totally fine. We ended up working it out in her debt to income ratio where I said, okay, you can absorb a $350 a month payment so you can purchase a new car as long as the payment doesn't go above X. And here's what I need. I need the statement. I need this. I need that. And we'll manually update your file. Not a problem. And it ended up being totally fine. But had she done that and not told me, and then we get to underwriting and we're addressing it. So it all goes back to those no surprises and these conversations having up front. So it doesn't mean life during the holidays doesn't happen. It happens. Life's all the time. It's just about being open, honest communication throughout the entire process with everyone.
Having that conversation with your client on finding a lender is one thing that I mention all the time, because if you can't call your lender and just ask that question and feel like they'll answer their phone, and then you can sleep tonight because you got that one burning question off your chest.
Can you text them?
We might need to find a new relationship before we start the transaction, because you really need to feel safe with your lender and your agent before you ever look at one house.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And those are all things that can be figured out up front. So you're out after that. You're out spending your time and your gas, and you're, taking all of this time to look at homes, and then something, you're just not happy, or somebody's not responding, or somebody's not communicating. That's really frustrating to have to change when you're about to go under contract on a home and you have all this paperwork coming at you and all these things. You want to have as much on the front end dialed in as you can, and asking questions and getting a feel for those relationships up front is so important. So important. And you can talk to a couple different people. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to, just because Aunt Susie says work with this person, absolutely take Aunt Susie's referral, but have a conversation. Maybe that person's not right for you. Maybe you need another recommendation, or maybe, Susie's going to be on vacation during Christmas and you're shopping. So just all those conversations to happen up front.
The reference of Aunt Susie, that is such a good one. I liked when I'm having conversations with my clients, everybody has an Aunt Susie, right? Everybody's an Aunt Susie who's an agent, and there's an Aunt Susie who's a lender, a cousin. It just happens. And you want to nurture those relationships. I always challenge people to interview them. Probably interview them.
Just like you would anybody else.
100%. Bring in someone who you might want to work with, and bring in Aunt Susie. And ask them all the questions. Who do you feel safest with? Who is going to get you to the end in the most productive way possible, the way that we actually intended? Once you feel that level of trust, you really can get through any type of transaction, any time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. Ask all the questions.
All the questions.
All the questions.
All right. Well, that wraps up today's episode of The Real Estate Ripple. Thanks for spending a little of your holiday season with us.
So if you have any questions about making a move in December or want any advice for the year ahead, reach out. We're always happy to help. And don't miss our next episode coming in January.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
That's a wrap for this episode of The Real Estate Ripple. We hope you're walking away with some valuable insights and a fresh perspective on the world of real estate.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Whether you're on the go or closing deals, we've got you covered every week.
And if you've enjoyed today's show, we'd love for you to leave a review and share the Real Estate Ripple with your fellow realtors, lenders, and anyone looking to stay ahead in this ever-changing market.
Until next time, keep making waves in the world of real estate.